This track is just bringing it. It's absolutely unrelenting. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Molly and in this video I'm going to be reacting to Roads to Judah, the debut studio album from the black metal band Deafheaven. This band is quickly becoming a favorite of mine. Their music is just awesome. The first Deafheaven album that I listened to was Sunbather, their second studio album, and it just blew me away. I was so impressed by it. And then their most recent album that came out earlier this year, Infinite Granite, I also did a reaction to, and I really enjoyed the sound of that one as well. And then I went and listened to New Bermuda, their third studio album, and again, they just incorporated some different elements on that one, some different rock elements and some guitar. So I thought I would take it back to the start of their discography with their debut studio album Roads to Judah and just see what it sounds like, compare it to the other three and see what direction they kind of started out with. Alright, so Roads to Judah is actually a pretty short album for Deafheaven. It is just under 40 minutes long and there's only 4 tracks on this album, but they're all relatively long in length. Starting off, we have the first track called Violet. Right off the start here, we've got some ambient stuff going on. Alright, now they're introducing some instrumentals here. Very relaxing start to this one. A bit shoegazy for sure. It's interesting that at least the beginning of this first track on Roads to Judah, which is their first album, actually reminds me the most so far, I think, of Infinite Granite, their most recent album. Yeah, this is a very soft sounding, warm song. I mean, that could change. Knowing Deafheaven, they'll kind of pull out some more intensity toward the end of this track, but at least at the start, it's just very almost soothing sounding. Ah, here comes the percussion. Probably my favorite part of Deafheaven's sound. Okay, now this is reminding me more of Sunbather, for sure. Like, this part of the song. Their instrumentals are just never ending. Like, they're so committed to the sound. On every Deafheaven album, they do that. They just bring it. They don't let up. I love it. That's a little bit New Bermuda-ish with that guitar. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm hearing sounds from all 3 of their other albums that I've heard so far. I'm hearing similarities on their first album. That bell, or whatever that chiming sound is kind of an interesting addition. Alright, here come the goosebumps. I get goosebumps every time I listen to a Deafheaven album. That bridge with that really kind of electric, almost ambient sounding guitar that then just led to this big explosion of sound here was just fantastic, the way they did that. Yeah, and then the percussion here toward the end is a lot gentler. It's a little bit more slowed down, kind of airy sounding. That was track 1, Violet. That was a fantastic track. That one just had a great feeling to it overall. This feeling of liberation, freedom, which I picked up on a lot on Sunbather too. Also a very like soft, warm tone to that track. A little bit less kind of cold and metallic sounding. Just a really beautiful track. And then they incorporated some of that guitar too, which was really cool. I just really enjoyed that. All right, and moving on to track 2, we have Language Games. Oh man, the beginning of that reminded me so much of Luna. Like, it sounded exactly like it. All right, this one already has a little bit of a heavier sound to it. This track has a great groove going on to it. I love these little bridges they're throwing in with more of that guitar that they really embraced on New Bermuda. Just a fantastic sound. Yeah, they're really incorporating some more melodic sounding bits on this album, which I enjoy. It just gives it kind of a warmer tone almost. Again, with that really soft percussion. I love how they're incorporating different sounds from the drums on this album. I'm always amazed at how much Deafheaven's tracks grow on you over their runtimes. Just how they change the sound throughout the track and build it up so incredibly well. That was track 2, Language Games. Definitely a little bit more intense of a sounding track compared to Violet, the first one. Very reminiscent of Sunbather. I think that's the album I'm hearing the most of on Roads to Judah, but there's still little flashes of some shoegazy stuff and like the electric guitar and kind of an airier sound to it and a lighter sound that New Bermuda embraced. But that track, Language Games, just brought it with the percussion, especially was what I was picking up on with that one. All right, up next we have track 3, Unrequited. Very gorgeous melodic start to this one. Somehow Deafheaven always seems to incorporate similar sounds on their albums, yet they make all of their tracks different too. It's really impressive that they can do that. Like, their stuff never gets old. It's always engaging, but yet they have a very signature sound to them. Again, with kind of a grooviness going on with this track. Definitely reminds me of New Bermuda with kind of that airier quality. There's almost like more of a bounciness to this track. This track just keeps building and building and building. It's amazing considering how melodic it started off. I love this guitar. Again, that percussion, it's really almost hollow sounding, but yet there's a really kind of natural, organic tone to it. It's just really standing out to me on this album. I like it. This track is just bringing it. It's absolutely unrelenting. Okay, that sounds like New Bermuda. That electric guitar. That was track 3, Unrequited. That one, I would say, so far, definitely is the track that's reminded me the most of their third album, New Bermuda. A lot of similarities sonically, just in how kind of airy and almost borderline groovy that track was. And I absolutely loved how it started off so melodic and calm and relaxed at the beginning. And typical Deafheaven, they just built that track up and up and up, and they added all of these fantastic layers to it just to create so much sound and energy toward the end of that track. Might be my favorite on this album so far. I'm not really sure yet, but that was just an awesome track. All right, and last up on Roads to Judah, we have track 4, Tunnel of Trees. I loved the start of that with the cymbals. Oh man, that was cool. The percussion, I just love it. I love how you have kind of the colder sounding, harsher vocals that are really raw and intense. And then you have the fun, light, airy percussion. And then you have the really warm, melodic undertones too with this track. And they're fusing those 3 elements really well. All right, we're halfway through this track, and now we've got a really quiet chunk here going on. I love how they just had all of that aggression and intensity going a minute or so ago, and somehow they've completely changed the tone of this song, like complete 180, but yet it's so cohesive. And then they bring it right back beautifully well. I love how soft their sound is overall on this album for black metal. It's delivered with such intensity, but then they just balance it out really well with moments like this on their tracks that just bring a soft edge to their sound. Wow, really beautiful melodic ending to that track. That was the last track on Roads to Judah, Tunnel of Trees. That one just made great use of different instrumentation. I love how it started out with that cymbal and then the really kind of light, airy sounding percussion, and then how it ended just with that really, really minimalistic melodic bit at the end with the piano. Just a gorgeous track. All right, so there you have it. That is my reaction to Roads to Judah, the debut studio album from Deafheaven. Frankly, for a debut album, this one really impressed me. I thought they had a great sound going on, and I'm really surprised at how much I picked up on elements from all 3 other Deafheaven albums that I've heard. They kind of had more of that shoegaziness on certain parts, especially the first track, Violet. I noticed that they went in the direction of with Infinite Granite, and then they had a lot of that airy percussion and grooviness and some of the electric guitar elements from New Bermuda. I especially noticed that on the track Unrequited, but then they just had a lot of that awesome post-metal, black metal intensity that they really went in the direction of and embraced on Sunbather. So this officially means I have one Deafheaven album left to react to, their 4th studio album, Ordinary Corrupt Human Love. All of you have just been recommending that one left and right to me in the comments, and I frankly cannot wait to hear it. I'm really excited to see what sounds they're going to embrace on that one. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And yeah, as usual, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.